and we're on. Today's guest, we have Galit Lubetzky, co-founder and CEO at Wing Security, a leading SaaS security posture management solution that provides full visibility and control over your applications, users, and data. Galit, welcome to the show.
Hey, Joe, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
How are you?
I'm great. New year, new energy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And currently in Tel Aviv, I'm looking at the background.
Yes, you see it, right? A lot of construction, a lot of building raising up.
Absolutely. I think we was introduced a couple of years ago from Moses Vered, who I believe you met in the past. And I really remember coming to Cyber Tech last year in Tel Aviv and walking into the conference and seeing this fantastic, huge, great big, like, I don't even know what to call it, but it was impressive for your podium position right by the door.
Right.
It was great.
Great experience, yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't a booth. That was you couldn't describe that as a booth. It was that glamorous. But yeah, it was really impressive. So remember it well. And it's got me on to asking the question first of all, Galit, is to where did the name Wing Security come from?
That's a cute one to start with. So I guess we'll talk soon about Wing, but Wing is a SaaS security company, as you said. And when we established it, we thought of a name, right? You always think of a name. And the name should symbolize your deep belief in what you do. And the old days where security was the second name of don't and can't, I think are over. And I think that the new security approach is the one that goes with the organization, with the company, and just find the right way to secure the processes, the job that needs to be done, right?
Yeah.
So we thought of something that elevates and lifts and still protects. So the Wing is exactly that, right? It protects, it shields.
Love it.
But it has a lot of movement and you can fly with it. So
I just knew you'd have a great meaning behind it. So thanks for sharing that. But Galit, before we get into Wing Security and what you guys are up to, and the SaaS security space in general, I'd like to go back to where it all began for you and how you got into the industry. So I imagine, like most in Israel, it all started in the military.
How did you guess? So yeah, you guessed right. I spent 23 years in the IDF, in the technological unit that is called 8200. I joined the IDF as an engineer, so was immediately redirected to the technological side. And I was very fortunate to be at the right spot at the right time to recognize the huge opportunities that are in this evolving thing that was later called the cyber. Back then, it wasn't called cyber. It was just, HTTP and the different protocols that just passed there. And we saw the opportunities, and I was very fortunate to work with wonderful people, with great teams, and we developed capabilities. And then, along the years, I managed bigger and bigger groups, operations, R&D, retired as a colonel after 23 years. And then after a few weeks at home, I thought, okay, it's time to think of my next chapter. And it should be at least as exciting as the first one, because the first one was amazing.
Yeah.
And I looked for big problems. I love to deal with big problems. And I saw that there's compared to what I knew from the IDF, a new approach to using software, and everything is just, you know, consumed remotely. But the thing that struck me was the pace, the speed of adoption, and it's everywhere. It's across the different organization types. It's across the different departments. Everyone is using SaaS for everything, and the numbers are huge. So it became a very difficult challenge for the security team to gain control of what's going on, who's using what, where's my data, what are these applications connected to, who has access to it. So all of these questions are actually encapsulated in what we now call the SaaS security. And since it is a big problem and demands a simple solution, because, you know, the security teams are overloaded with different types of solutions that they need to manage in parallel. So I thought that that's the right thing. That's the right challenge to deal with.
Yeah. Well, I think you're either brave or crazy, because I was looking at your timeline on when you launched Wing, and I'm pretty sure you launched like a month or two after COVID.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So talk about big problems. You sort of you launched at one of the biggest, craziest periods of time. How was that as an experience, as founding a company just at that time? Because yeah, it seems a long time ago now, but
how was that? You know, it's I think that in every crisis, in every challenge, there are great new opportunities. So we spend a lot of time at home, so we had a lot of time to think. And COVID generated new opportunities in terms that, you know, we could meet everyone across the world within a click of a Zoom button. And so before that, maybe we had to travel and spend weeks overseas, and then just in a few months, we got to meet so many people globally and get so much traction. It was very obvious and clear that this is the right way to do it, because, you know, everyone was at home. So there was a great opportunity there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. Because I was looking at your website, it says 84% of companies are using breached applications, which is insane. So how big is this SaaS security problem? Because I know that the adoption's obviously it's more and more increased. Like how big of an issue is this?
It's huge. It's huge. Maybe we'll start by throwing the number 300,000. And that's the number of applications that we classified so far.
Wow. Yeah.
300,000 SaaS applications already classified, and it's growing all the time. Think of all the companies that you get to meet, the number of new companies that develop software that is not provided as a service. I don't know if you can count it. You know, it's so little, it's negligent. So that's the start. And then it is used by everyone. So the bigger their organization, the bigger the company, then the bigger the challenge. We see that on average, an employee will use about 28 applications. And you know that about 40% of the applications in total per company are used by only one employee. So there are, of course, the major, the known ones. Everyone knows that you're using Slack and that you're using Zoom and Salesforce. But then there are the organizational ones that are less known, maybe, you know, in the marketing team, they work with HubSpot and so on, and the product team, they work with Figma. So they have a few, maybe dozens employees using this app. But as you go along the different departments, then there are many, you know, applications that are used by someone that needed something, that connected an app to his email just to do something, or to the drive, and suddenly a sensitive data of the organization is now shared with an app that who knows what this app is all about. So the immediate thing is to, first of all, understand that it's a big problem. It's multiplying the number of potential applications with the number of employees, and then with the data that is shared across these applications. And getting the visibility is extremely important to understand the attack surface and the boundaries of the problem, of the challenge. But then you have to do something about it, because you didn't know it before, now you know. So what are you going to do with it? Right? You need tools. You need something to turn this list of, I don't know, words and list of applications into something tangible. You need to minimize the attack surface first, right? It's the basic thing. You need to push towards minimizing the attack surface, making sure your posture is as good as you can get.
Yeah. I scared myself when I was looking at my extensions alone on my, and I was just like, I don't even use that anymore, but it's sort of still there. So let's talk about Wing Security then, and what you are doing specifically. So let's talk a little bit more about how you are giving customers the full visibility they need, and then that remediation effort.
Okay, so we provide full visibility, first of all. We will discover all the applications that are being used. But not only that, we will provide enough insights so you can make a decision. We will tell you what this app is all about. Who's the vendor? How big is it? Did they invest in security or not? Do they have compliances, security compliances, privacy compliances? You will get a risk scoring that qualifies your policy, so that you will be able to make a decision in a snapshot. You'll see the app, you'll know what's the risk involved, you'll see who's using it, you'll be able to make a decision, quick decision. We understand you don't have time, you're busy. And then we'll automate it for you. Everything will be automated. Once you have the basic fundamentals, you have the list, you have the assets that you use, you have them. Now you can focus on the major security risks. We can tell you, you need to close this gap. Here you forgot to remove a user. They still have high permissions. They still have access. This employee is no longer working in the company. You forgot to remove the access to the GitHub, or you invited someone to your Slack environment. By the way, you forgot to restrict it to a specific channel. Now they can access all your channels. You have these files shared on your Box drive or your Dropbox. These were shared externally, so everyone with the link can now access those files. By the way, some of those shares were shared 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 9 years ago. We saw companies with millions of open shares because it's so easy to share when you need it. But the number of times that employees remember to close those shares when the project is done is significantly lower, very close to the number that starts before number one. So, we will discover all these. And now you should be very worried because you understand that that's a lot of work and you don't have time, right? You have to take care of your endpoints and your emails and your infrastructure. So you need something that will do the work for you. You must just define the policy, and then we will generate the workflows for you. And now for the interesting part. You know, the complexity of SaaS lies within the decentralized behavior of the domain, right? You have Hannah from accounting, she's using her applications. You have Dana from legal, they're using their own applications. You have the jungle in the R&D, no one wants to get into that because, you know, so it's a decentralized problem, but there's only one security team and they're very busy. So we need to solve this complexity for them. We need to engage the employees in the loop. You can send them automatically notification, asking them to close their gaps. Do you need this app? Why do you need this app? If you don't need this app, why don't you close this app? Here, you can close it. You don't have time? Okay, let's put a timer. Let's make sure that if you haven't used this app for, I don't know, 2 months, we'll close, we'll revoke the tokens for you. Don't worry. So you need to define what is the policy that suits you. And then we promise that in less than 8 hours a month, you're covered. So you don't need to bring another employee to take care of this.
Wow, it sounds such a hard, complex thing, but I actually run through your free discovery, your free SaaS discovery. I couldn't believe how easy it was just to basically do. And I would highly recommend that people that are listening to this do take use of that. And just on that, why did you decide to have that sort of free SaaS discovery offering? So you just don't see that very often.
Right. It's not common in the cyber domain at all. So first of all, we thought it was early last year. It was just in the middle of the crisis. We saw that there is a huge slowdown, and we deeply believe in security. And we thought that this will be an engaging and an opportunity for security teams globally to see and to assess what is the risk that they take. And we were amazed, by the way, because within a few months, we got to hundreds of companies that are connected to us and provided permissions and now enjoy the visibility on their new and dynamic attack surface. Now, with that information, we can now provide our customers better insights. We understand the domain better. We see trends. See what applications are rising in usage terms. We see what is the best practices. How do you use this app? We can tell you, you know, Joe, you're the only one using this app that way. Are you sure you need to provide these high permissions? I mean, no one provided full permissions to the drive to this app. You're the only one using it that way. And then we will always push you towards closing those gaps. If you're the only one, maybe you should remove those permissions. Here, click here, let's remove them.
Yeah, got it. It's talking about adoption, and it looks like from you've got a ton of customers already that you're quite vocal about, that you've already signed up. Am I right in thinking that it is, were they all customers or are they partners on your?
Of course, they're using Wing, so
How
yes.
many how many have you got now then so you've been going, what, 2.5 years? How you There was quite a number. There was quite a few, I must admit.
Yes, we're very fortunate to work with wonderful companies. They enjoy the visibility and protection that Wing provides. And we are in the
Nice.
on the right track.
Yeah, yeah.
Collect more and more. We're
Yeah,
ready.
absolutely. Absolutely. Long may it continue. So if we're to talk about some of the attack techniques for SaaS specifically, I was actually looking at your SaaS State of SaaS report, last year's one, and saw some of the predictions and stuff that you made. But what I found interesting was something called MFA fatigue. Can you just talk about that a little bit more? What does that actually mean, MFA fatigue?
I can, but you know that there are a growing number of attacks that are related to SaaS applications.
Mm,
So of course, there are many different layers of protection. Some of them are related to the access, right? You need to protect the access. We understand that it's not enough to authenticate using even a single sign-on. So you need another layer of protection. We call it MFA, multi-factor authentication. What we saw that in many cases, the attackers, they burned patients of the victim. They send more and more and more and more notifications until at the end of the day, the attacker just dismissed it or provides you, okay, you generate another channel to the victim to bypass the mechanism of the MFA. We saw that in a few attacks this year, also last year. So we understand that you need to provide more alerts
yeah.
when these situations happen. One of the things that we do in Wing, we can let our customers cover the MFA configuration across different applications and make
Right.
sure that they are all configured in the right way. If someone removes it, then you can immediately be notified and fix it. And there are many use cases related to that. This is a good example. The MFA is something that is very basic
Yeah.
in security configurations, and it's a very good best
Yeah.
practice. So it's important to cover that as well. By the way, it is also important in terms of compliances. So that's also something that you need to show that you follow, and then you need to provide the right logs and audits that will prove that you're covered.
Yeah.
We
And,
can
and on
help.
and on that, I noticed that you had partnered with Grata as well. Is that a recent partnership that you've?
Yeah, it's a few months now. So every Drata's customer can use user access reviews that are provided by Wing.
Mhm.
By the way, from the free tier, they can enjoy doing user access review as well. Drata's customers can get the the report immediately stored in their directory in Drata, but everyone else can use the tier that provides visibility, user access control, and just on your own. As you said, it's very easy with just
Very easy.
4 clicks. You're onboarded. You can just integrate different applications, get the visibility, get the list of users, see who are your admins, see the roles, make sure that your employees are not overprivileged, remove the permissions that are not needed, generate the report for the auditor. It's very easy with just a few clicks, and you get the PDF and it's signed, and that's it. You can also, delegate it to someone else in your company to help you. If you're not the Slack admin or the Salesforce admin, you can invite someone to help you. So it's a very easy process, and Drata's customers can just automatically have those reports stored in the right place, but everyone else can use those reports to their annual and quarterly reviews.
Love it, love it, love it. So finishing this up, I was reading your predictions in 22, and one of them was around how IAM or IDM, there would be a lot of attacks on those applications. And I think you couldn't be any more true with how things ended last year with big ones like Okta, and it just sprung to mind. And I know that you're not a mystic, Meg, or like have a crystal ball, but I just was curious as to what your predictions look like for 2024.
So we will publish our year.
Oh, you're going to publish another one? Okay, yeah. Yes. When's that coming out?
So it's going to be next week.
Yes.
So I suggest that you will invite me to another session, and then we'll discuss the new predictions, and let's see.
Let's do it.
If we have the crystal ball.
I hope not, but I hope it gives people the opportunity to look at it and really understand how big of a problem that this is, but for not just them, but for everybody. So Galit, absolute pleasure having you on the show. Is there anything else you just wanted to cover or finish up on before we close out?
Well, I think that, it's 2024 just started, and it's a new year, and it's a great opportunity to think and to plan how you want to secure your organization in the coming year. And as we see that the SaaS domain is something that is everywhere and growing, and of course the attacks in the domain are on the rise as well. So it's time to look for a solution that will ensure that you're secured and safe. So my suggestion is just to start, right? You have to put your feet in the water and then start swimming. Start with discovery, understand and assess, and then, just generate and pick the solution that provides the protection that you need. Automation with these big numbers is extremely important. Let's hope for a secured year for everyone in all aspects, cyber. Absolutely. And the real domain that we live in.
Absolutely. Well, I wish Wing Security the best of success, and I'm sure we're going to have an amazing 2024. Thanks for coming on, Galit.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a great experience.
Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed today's show, please like and share with your friends and colleagues, as this is really important for the show's reach. If you'd like to be our next guest or are interested in Aspron Search's staffing solutions, please get in touch directly with me or reach out to us via our website www.aspronsearch.com.